Good evening, everyone. We are back again with a much healthier grid tonight for Division 1 here at Zandvoort. We are in round 6 of 10 here in Season 11, and our first season here on F1 24. And as you can see, we already have a few people heading out here. We have a couple of D2 reserves. Excuse me, wrong button. We have Kiwi here, D2 Red Bull driver, reserving for Kick Sauber tonight. And we have Chubb Tucker filling in for the still injured Josh Mulder. So we hope he gets better soon. And we have a couple of toys tonight that we can play with. I still want to do something better, but this is what I've got for now. So first up, to show us, maybe not the best position now that I think about it, but got ourselves a little forecast. I'm going to actually move that since it's over the track. Tab out for one moment. Put it right over EA. Nobody likes EA, right? So we're going to put it right over EA. There we go. Got a little forecast. And as it shows, this session is going to be dry all the way through. There is the possibility of rain at the end of the race. But we will take a look at that once we get into that session. There's Kiwi putting on provisional pole of an 11.4. We saw in another league today, Marcel Pabst, aka Eruption, setting a blazing 8.4 earlier today. So we'll see what he does with us here. 9.9 for Jack Fletcher. We also have the debut of his teammate here this season, Marcel Green in the Ferrari. Marcel, so that means we have two Marcels in the Ferraris. So excited to see what he does. Tonight, Cam Bourne, podium sitter last week at Bahrain. Cam Bourne setting the fastest first sector right now. Nick Hamrick actually beating him by just a little bit behind him in that Red Bull. Hop on board with this, and looking at these corner names are always very interesting. I don't actually know Dutch. Turn 13. Uveno. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming balked, since that is the suffix of every single word here, means corner or turn or something like that. Cam Bourne 9.0, so the strongest, a very strong first lap there for Cam Bourne on these soft tires. Hop on board here with Nathan Doan, who was on his first push lap as he heads up the hill towards turn 5 and 6. Running into a little bit of traffic here. Looks like a McLaren, maybe a Chubb Tucker. Front of our other broadcaster, we have Marcel Green showing out very nicely here, and with a 9.0 going above Cam Bourne. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this track is we only have two DRS zones. We have DRS starting here on this bank corner, heading up towards the line. They extended it here to try to give a little bit more. Or give a few more opportunities for overtaking heading into turn 1, as that's the best place to overtake at this track. And Nathan Doan putting it on provisional pole. So 4 people with a 9.0, and then Nick and Stelios right behind them. And again, there's Marcel. Marcel Pabst with that 8.8. So first one into the 8s for us tonight. So here's Justin Schreier in the V-Carb here, making his first push attempt. Oh, looks like we actually have Nicholas Aro here incorrectly in the Alpine, but his points will count towards Kick Sauber. do not have somebody to drive the other Alpine car tonight, so no big deal that he is driving that right now. I'm not sure why my controller is just perpetually vibrating here, but very annoying. Let's find somebody here pushing. We have Aiguo. Missed the last couple of rounds, but still in a nice position. Or, excuse me, still in a solid position. Marcel has basically run away with the championship at this point, as he has won 5 of 5 races so far. But we bring that up. Let's go ahead and show our standings. So this is where we currently are. Some of the reserve points may not be completely applied here yet. We'll get that fixed before we have our next standings. So that may mean that the Constructors' Championship may be a little bit off, but not too much off. Marcel, 5 of 5 race wins so far. Freddie Razzle scoring 3 podiums. Not really in the fight anymore, as Marcel is just smoking everyone. Marcel Green in a current nice spot right now, but at the bottom of the order because this is his first race with us this season. Ethan Patel, who is taking the coward's way out and just not racing. He's just sitting in our Discord playing other games right now. So make sure to shame him. Cam Bourne, 3 podiums in 3 races so far. So Cam Bourne doing a nice job, but it's basically a battle for second at this point, as Marcel Paps is just smoking everyone so far. Simon Colston on low fuel mode on his way back to the pits here. Jack Fletcher on his outlap here for his second push attempt here. We are just at 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in our session. Thank you, Labib, for following instructions. Maybe a little bit more on the nose than I intended. Here's Jack Fletcher pushing for the second time tonight. Looks like Chubb Tucker is actually pushing for his second attempt a little bit in front of him, so we'll kind of move over to him to see what he's doing to improve. So far, that Delta not being super kind to him, but let's see what it actually is as he moves into the Sector 3. The exit of Turn 9 here, and then Turn 10, the Audi S. Now, this is the first time I've actually looked at these names. They're pretty cool, but I mean, at the same time, they're a little generic. Audi S, that one makes sense, you know. This one up here, just going through turn 13, the Leuven balked. So Chubb Tucker improving by half a second, but not moving up any positions. They're actually moving up 1 position over Roldy. Move back over to Jack Fletcher, who I think was the next one going, or about to finish his lap. Jack Fletcher showing almost a 4/10 improvement here. So that may actually not improve his position, depending on what that final time is. 4.72. So I think Jack Fletcher just did 2 outlaps to set that time there, as his tires are showing 2 laps. They're getting out of the way of a fellow driver there for Jack Fletcher. Both Red Bulls having a bit of unluckiness with attendance so far this season, but it's good to see them back tonight. Hopefully with August coming to a close, we kind of get everyone back on the grid as we close out the second half of our season tonight. And as we see, we had, 13 last week? We have 18 tonight with 1 no-show. So we will take that for now. Let's see if we can find somebody on a push lap. So we have Stelios Repas in the McLaren. His second full-time race the third race of the season. Stelios doing a really nice job back in round 1 at Canada. In a solid race last week as well. But 10-second time penalty, ruining any chances he had at a podium. So the Stelios goes through the Vodafone box at turn 9. Back up at turn 10, the Audi S. Marcel improving on his time there with an 8.7 and a 1/10 improvement there. Stelios moving towards the last couple of corners here. Let's see what Stelios can do to improve his starting position. .8 for Stelios, and Simon also into P2. Simon, who's had a very up and down season. Simon with a really nice qualifying lap there. Stelios, the next person into the 8s, and Freddie Razzle also in the 8s as well, and also Nick Aro. So 5 people into the 8s. So while the expectations are that Marcel just kind of runs away with the win here, we may have a very spicy battle for the final 2 podium positions, like we generally do. So here, I believe we have Passman just finished pushing on his lap. Maxime here, not pushing. Justin Schreier not pushing. Jack Fletcher in the pits. And that should do it for everyone for this second push attempt. We have about 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in our session. If we have, let's see, looks like we have Kiwi and Terrence Leon. We'll have to get his name corrected there once I get him added to Steam. AKA the Psycho here on his second push attempt here. Not a lot of time left to kind of go for a final push attempt, but hop on board with him as he goes through turn 3, that humongous bank corner, very unique for F1. And back up the hill, turn 5, and then down the hill at turn 6 through Shivlak. And then turn 7 up here, this really fast right-hander, which is basically almost flat in this game, Marlboro Bocht. And then Renault Bocht in turn 8 there. And Vodafone Bocht. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll have to ask Max at some point. Ooh, on that curb for Terrence, so he's going to lose a lot of time there. Let's see what his delta is as he crosses this sector 3 line. And he is up on his time, so he backs out. So I believe Kiwi is pushing here. Likely to be her final push lap of the night. Almost a 3/10 improvement through the first sector. For the Marlboro box there. Oh, off the track. Too much curb, and it just sucks her into the gravel and into the grass. So that may be her final push attempt, depending on how much fuel she has left. So far, qualifying looking nice and tight so far, so as the top 14 are all separated by less than 0.8. As we see on that track map, a lot of people on their way out. I believe that is Jack Fletcher, the first one on his way around. So Jack Fletcher, as we see there, it looks like... Oh, no, excuse me. Nope, he's just out of the pits, so... Actually, no, he doesn't show outlap. I think he's doing his two outlap thing again. But Jack Fletcher with the idea of, let's just go 2 outlaps, get those tires nice and warm, and then just deal with the extra wear. So we will see how this goes for him. So that puts us, I believe, that is Stelios, who will be the first one to attempt their final push lap here. Stelios currently in P3, only a 1.5 tenths behind Marcel Paps for pole position. So let's ride on board with Stelios as he heads up towards turn 1. As in Bocht. So there you go. And so Stelios backing out. So Stelios maybe having the idea of two outlaps here. We actually have Kai Guo here, I believe, pushing through turn 3 and now heading up towards the hill of turn 5. So he is pushing, so he is committed to this push lap here. A little bit hot, or small improvement on his delta right now, about 300ths. Like I said, basically flat through that corner. I don't think he lifted at all. So Kai is going to head towards Sector 3 here. Very understeery. He goes through a Vodafone bump. Down towards the Audi S. So up on his time. So Formula Kai. Kai will may back out here. Nope, he's going to push the battery. Just YOLO push it towards the line. Not enough fuel to go again. So we have a Ferrari here starting their lap. So a lot of weirdness here with a lot of people doing 2 out laps on this final push attempt. So we're going to kind of go around to see who's actually pushing. It's going to be hard to find everyone. This is Marcel here pushing into turn 4. Or excuse me, turn 3. Now into turn 4. So Marcel currently sitting on pole position. With Nick Aro pushing right behind him. That's purple sector 1 for Marcel. Very aggressive on the turn in there as he heads through turn 6. Almost sliding the car basically through turn 9. I mean, that was turn 8 and turn 9, not turn 6. Nathan Doan in the gravel behind him. So Nathan, Cam Bourne improving big time there. So an 8.6 for Cam Bourne. So Marcel's going to need a lot of improvement here. But he is purple through the first 2 sectors. So he is what looks like almost 3/10 quicker than Cam Bourne already. So let's see where he finishes tonight at. Aaron's improving to a 9.8, but not improving his position. Marcel, 2/10, beating Cam Bourne by 2/10. Simon currently not pushing. Stelios pushing into the final 2 corners here. A little bit understeery as he got on the power there. May have lost a little bit of time. Let's see where this puts him. He's currently at an 8.865. Does not improve his time. Iguo already pushed, but he's pushing again, it appears. But he is well up on his time. Nick Hamrick into the pits. Chubb Tucker pushing small improvement, but no improvement in position there. And I believe that does it for our qualifying. Cam Bourne with a heroic effort to try to get pole over Marcel Paps, but Marcel just poops on everyone like normal. Tarzan corner. There's no R in it. It's not Tarzan corner. So that does it for qualifying. Marcel Pabst just cruising along to his first championship here in ZRL. But Cam Bourne and Nick Aro right on his heels. A lot of people in the 8s. So 7 people made it into the 8s tonight. So our battle for our 3 podium positions really may be very, very spicy. It'll be very interesting to see what everyone decides to do strategy-wise here. So we're going to load into the race. And Maxime will give everyone about 90 seconds, and then we will get this thing underway. All right, and so as we sit on the grid and wait for everyone to swap their setups around, a reminder, we are a no park permit league at the moment. So you are allowed and encouraged to change your setups between session based on what is required that session. In setups, whatever. Race versus quality setups, etc. So that, what we'll wait on here, we'll kind of pull up our quali results there for a moment. So Marcel Camborne, Nick Aro, Freddie Razzle on that second row. Simon and Marcel Green, the newcomer tonight. Really nice position to maybe fight for a podium in their first race tonight, or the first race this season. Look at our standings again. Mercedes doing a really nice job. The combined constructors basically being carried by their D2, as they are the only one. They are one of the only two reliable D2 pair for now. So we'll see how the second half of this season goes. But yeah, a lot of DNSs when we're looking at our standings right now. We're waiting. That's what our forecast is looking like right now. Actually, I think that might be showing the qualifying information still, so we'll sit on that and watch it change when the race starts. But again, we're looking at clouds about halfway through the race and potential rain at the very end. So that may throw everyone for a loop a little bit when we get to that point. We've seen in this game, when it rains, sometimes it'll go from dry to wet or wet to dry in the blink of an eye. So things can always go crazy when you least expect it. All right, boys, and here we go. Marcel Pabst on pole, followed by Cam Bourne in that Mercedes. And we are underway. A lot of ghosting there, but that's just this goofy game. Those very strange textures there. Right on board with Freddie Razzle as he goes down the inside of Nick Aro, and he is taking that position. Major Castleman being spun around to the back, so a lot of work for him to catch up, but a lot of battling will happen as we go through the middle part of this lap. So a lot of checking up for him to do as everyone goes through turn 3. But Freddie Razzle and Cam Bourne very, very close. And one thing we do have we can show. We have some more stuff. Woohoo! Yay, more stuff. So there's some cool stuff, and let's pull up our tire information here. Freddie Razzle and Cam Bourne going side by side as they go through turn 9, and Marcel Pabst just running away with this so far. It looks like we have Roldy in the back going off track there. It doesn't look like he has any damage, but he is well behind the rest of the field now. Starting on those hard tires. Roldy having that really nice race a couple of weeks back with the alternate strategy, so he is continuing to commit to that, even though it is likely not the ideal strategy at most tracks. So Marcel setting the pace there with a 14.4. And Bourne and Freddie Razzle doing their best to try to catch back up to him. Fred just outside that 1 second delta, now inside it as he goes through turn 3. We're looking at a loss of about what looks like, if I can read this, I can't read that. 14 seconds in the pits, is that what that shows? I can't read my own handwriting. A lot of battling back here. Looks like Nick Aro losing a bit of time as we just watch him have a big moment, and Simon going around him. Or Simon and Cam both getting by Stelios, or Nick Aro there. Actually, Cam was already in front. Simon, Stelios getting around Nick. Marcel Green now, so Nick having a lot of problems here as he's ghosted now. Maybe he just, it looks like he's still driving, just having some struggles right now. I'll move this out of the way as we look at our possible race strategy. We have more yellow flags. That is a VSC, so Nick Aro actually crashing into the wall there, causing a VSC, so he is out of the race. And looks like we have Castleman into the pits. We have Roldy into the pits. How long will this VSC remain is the big question. That'll be a long way to go for Major Castleman on those softs, so that is expecting some sort of, and that is the end of the VSC. So Castleman coming out on fresh soft tires, Roldy behind him on fresh mediums. The grid kind of being stretched apart there a little bit. Stelios right behind Simon, but now Cam Bourne over almost 2 seconds behind Freddie Razzle for P2. It looks like Stelios trying to make a move there on Simon as he goes for that Audi S. He goes over the curb and is forced to back out. But he should have DRS now with the VSC over, and now that we are on lap 3. So actually, pop up our telemetry here so we can see the DRS, and there he is, DRS, as he blows by Simon there. Another little thing that we can do is we can take a look at this. So right now we're looking at Simon Colston. Cam Bourne actually losing a lot more time to Fred, so Cam struggling a lot up there. So Stelios and Simon now right behind him. And boom, now we have a little bit of tire wear information. You guys have heard me bring that up a few times. That box needs to be mended to a little bit more, but that's all right. So we have live tire information there for the person that we currently are hovering on. And looks Maxime into the gravel back here as he goes through the middle sector. Struggling to get grip. Losing a lot of positions there. So we can see at this track that it's very one-sided in terms of the wear. The left, particularly the left front, is going to wear a hell of a lot more than the rest of those tires. Maxime doing his best to try to hold Jack Fletcher off here. Jack Fletcher on the outside here as they go into the final couple of corners, but he is forced to back out as there's not enough racing space there. It's like Nick Hamrick being overtaken by Nathan Doan as they head into turn 1. Back up towards the front, Cam Bourne, though, losing tons of time to Freddie Razzle, so maybe these soft tires were the correct decision as we look at our improvements here. Freddie Razzle improving 2 positions, Stelios improving 3 positions, Nathan Doan improving a couple of positions. So the soft tires showing off nice amount of pace. Last week at Bahrain, we noted that the soft tires had less wear and more pace than the mediums for the entire stint, essentially. So the tires in this game can be very funky. Some weeks we're just sitting at a boring medium hard. Some weeks the mediums and the softs have a lot of different things they can do. So Nathan Doan a little bit of time, or a little bit of work to catch back up with his train in front of him. Igbo about 1.4 in front of him. Up on board here with Cam Bourne, who's having to go defensive as he heads towards turn 1. Looks like Stelios is going to make a move to try to stick down the inside of Cam Bourne, and is going to have that, or is going to get that move made. Now, with the issue right now with Cam Bourne's pace, does Mercedes decide to swap him and Simon? Because it still looks like Cam Bourne's having a bit of a struggle right now. Back here, we actually have Jack Fletcher making an overtake on Terrence in the bowl there at turn 3. So we missed it, but we did catch that it did happen. So nice job there for Jack Fletcher. One thing you will kind of note if you look at that tire performance, this is when somebody's telemetry settings are incorrect. You'll see the car number rather than their actual name. So Jack Fletcher, his telemetry is on, but his name setting is not. So we'll hop back up here towards the front. We will hop on board with Cam Bourne. We will show our other little feature we have tonight. Boom. A little battle for P3 action. Shows DRS, and, well, that's really it. And it shows their tires. So the live delta, I know that's already there, but we have another live delta. I think it just looks neat. The big story right now is Marcel Pabst running away from everyone. Fred was just inside of DRS for basically 1 lap, and the VSC came out and fell out of DRS on the exit of that. Marcel lapping about half a second quicker than Fred at the moment. And you can see that tire wear spread with Fred right now. 41% on that front left compared to 18 on the front right. So these right-hand corners at this track, very, very hard on these tires. Marcel Green back here in the Ferrari. With Kaiguo just a little bit ways behind him, still with DRS. Cam Bourne actually overtaking Stelios for P3. Currently not a lot of track limit warnings right now. We only have Fred, Kaiguo in the top 10 with any track limit warnings. So far we may not see any penalties, hopefully. So the expectations or the predictions for tire strategy here are kind of weird. We may see a few people try to stretch so they can do soft medium or medium soft. Looks like we have Terrence back here struggling a little bit, losing out on a position to Kiwi. So both the Williams in the mud right now. After Castman was turned around at turn 1 on lap 1. Some swap action here into turn 1 between Stelios and Cam Bourne. So Mercedes not asking the drivers to swap here. Team principal Simon Colston believing in his teammate Cam Bourne. Unfortunately for Nathan Doan, he will likely have to use his tire strategy to catch up with this lead train, as he is not making any ground on these guys at the moment. The DRS just doing too much. Marcel Green very, very close. Simon Colston here for P5, but with 2 cars right in front of them, it's a difficult place to send it. Stelios and Cam Bourne doing a really good job of maintaining pace, not battling too much, preventing too much trouble from catching up with them. Stelios in the fight here with Cam Bourne. They've actually caught up with Freddie Razzle. So Fred, losing a bunch of time on the previous lap here, now leads this lead train. So he is fallen well off the pace of Marcel at the front. Going over 2.5 seconds slower than Marcel on that previous lap. Back here, Nathan Doan and Nick Hamrick in P8 and 9 respectively. Just driving their own race right now. Justin Schreier just outside that DRS of Nick Hamrick, but not holding on to that delta for now. Gets back into it, but will he be able to stick it as I go through this 3rd sector? Schreier kind of just driving into the grass there, or the gravel there a little bit, but no worse for wear. Cam Bourne retaking P2 in this race. But look at that tire wear from Freddie Razzle. We were just on board with Justin Schreier. His tire wear much lower than Fred. So when we're looking at our telemetry, remember guys that the highest tire wear will be the one that pops up. So if anyone is looking at team telemetry right now and they see the rival tab and they see tire wear, you will see that Fred has insane tire wear, whereas Marcel does not. So Fred is just cooking the ever-loving life out of that front left tire relative to everyone else. Gonna get a little bit more balance there from Marcel. Basically the same, actually less tire wear on that rear left. So Fred just pushing his steering as crazy as he can and so he will likely be looking to pit either this lap or the next, get on some soft tires or something, because this front left is just in them, is not doing well at all. He is just well clear of everyone in terms of tire wear. Stelios right on his tail. Will he send it going into turn one? Not close enough, so he's going to have to back out. But Fred having a really terrible exit, probably due to this terrible front left tire. Now they're battling as they go towards turn three. Fred holding the inside here. Stelios on the outside. Fred being turned there because he's not giving Stelios any space there. So Fred not recognizing how bad his tires are, attempting to fight everyone who has better tires than him, and loses out on quite a bit there. Jack Fletcher and Nick Hamrick, the first ones to pit, so they pit very early for these hards. So big undercut attempt from these guys. We just watched that tire wear for Fred just skyrocket every corner. Already essentially gone up 5% since we started watching him less than a lap ago. Now, unfortunately for Haas, Fred, who was fighting potentially for a win, is now right in front of his teammate down here for P7 and P8. So will Fred finally decide to box? Yes, he will. Looks like we had, I think that was Ike Woe in the Aston Martin getting right in front of Fred. So we'll see what tires these guys go on. I would imagine hards for both of them. Where will Nick Hamrick come out relative to these guys? So Nick Hamrick on his outlap here. Major Castleman right behind him, and Castleman on soft tires, so not ideal for Castleman. But he does make that overtake on Nick Hamrick. So Nick Hamrick well behind Fred. So both the Red Bulls, even with the early pit stop, are just well out of the race right now. But Kai and Fred, how much will they battle? We know Fred likes to fight. We saw it before, causing him to go from P2 and P3 down to P7. So let's see. Will there be patience between the two of them as they come up on Chubb Tucker here in the McLaren? Back up here towards the front. We still have our lead train of 4 guys still on this lead train. No one pitting there. Camborne leading them into turn 1. Marcel Green maybe looking for a move around the outside of Simon, but too far back, and these guys getting really close as they move towards turn 3 here. These tires looking really nice for Simon Carlson compared to Fred's soft tires before he pit. And we have Nathan Doan, the other Haas driver, electing to go ahead and pit now. So he's going to put on medium tires. So a big difference in strategy here for Nathan compared to everyone else. So excuse me, so outside of Castleman and Roldy, who pit during the VSC on lap 3, electing to go onto those medium tires. So now he is about, not really that far behind Fred, so let's see what he can do with these tires. Should have a nice advantage, as he has a small amount of clean air before he catches Terrence, and then Terrence has no one in front of him. So let's take a look and see what happens here. And back to our lead train here. We'll hop on board with Marcel Green as we head. That is a yellow flag. Looks like that's actually Chubb Tucker off the track at turn 9. So a bit of a struggle there for Chubb Tucker. But no one in this lead train electing to pit. Stelios on those soft tires, showing a lot of wear now. As we can see, that front left is starting to really hurt, but still, I think if Fred were still on the track, he'd be close to 90% at this point from what we were seeing. Gonna hop on board with Marcel Paps. Tires looking nice and juicy, so with what we're seeing here, we'll likely see him go to medium tires sometime in the next, I would say, 1 or 2 laps. It's a lot of people pitting here. Dustin Schreier coming out, what looks like mediums. Maxime also on mediums, and then Kiwi pitting on some hard tires here, being passed by Jack Fletcher. Heading into turn 1, and then Roldy will pass him. Looks like they'll be side by side as he exits the, or as Kiwi exits the pits here. Nope. Roldy in front. So once again, we go through the final couple of corners with this lead train. So Fred was the first one of this group to pit. Actually, no, Fred and Kai both pit. And there goes Stelios on those soft tires, having to pit as those tires look 69% for Stelios as he goes into the pit lane. So these medium tires, these guys might be looking to go to the soft tires depending on where they're at. With Stelios on the mediums, doing 16 laps on those soft tires, or 15 laps, excuse me. So we may be looking at 5 more laps or so for these guys before they decide to pit. But that gives Stelios a really nice opportunity to pull away. But actually, look at this. Guo just 1.2 seconds behind him. Will they close that gap and get into DRS before Stelios starts pushing? We have more yellow flags. Looks like that's Nick Hamrick off the track on the exit of turn 3, missing some front wing there. So Nick Hamrick going to have to go back into the pits and get that replaced. See that actually on our overlay there, so that's nifty. Jack Fletcher getting in front of his teammate there. And Marcel finally pits, but he will be so far out. He will still have some traffic. But let's see where he comes out. Actually, literally no traffic, just all clean air. So where does Stelios come out relative to Marcel Pabst? And Fred and Kai not able to stick to Stelios. So Stelios now going to be pushing with a lot of clean air too. So Stelios just under 4 seconds behind Marcel. Unlikely to catch him, I would imagine, with Marcel having fresher tires and Marcel just showing much better pace than everyone else. But this may actually put him in a really nice position to secure a podium. And to add insult to injury, Nick Hamrick with a speeding penalty as he goes in to replace his front wing. So this will put him to the back of the grid. So once again, through the final couple of corners here for this lead train, we're about 6 drivers before. I mean, now everyone has slowly started to pit. So who will pit now? Nobody. Again, we will expectations are about lap 20 to lap 22 for these guys. Going 3 wide into turn 1. Marcel Green, tired of sitting behind both these Mercedes. Still on the inside here of Cam Bourne, but Cam Bourne still too far in front and holds on to that position as we head towards turn 3. Actually looking for potentially a move, getting on the battery there as we went on the exit of turn 3 there. Now we go up the hill. Simon kind of falling back a little bit. Marcel looking very pacey right now. But the big issue for these guys is just the amount of time that they've lost to Stelios, who pit 2 laps prior. So when they finally do pit, they will have a lot of pace, but they'll have a lot of space to make up. So here we go into turn 10. Marcel on the battery there. A nice run. Will he send it? Again, it's important that they don't cost each other too much time because they're going to hurt their own races. Stelios may just run past both of them. Now Stelios, or excuse me, Marcel looking for another move on Cam Bourne. Cam Bourne may decide to pit here just to get out of this crap. Let's see. Marcel on that, heavily on that battery. No one's pitting there, so Cam Bourne going a little defensive. Marcel going down the inside. He's going to get that position and take the lead of this train for the first time tonight. He's overtaken each of the Mercedes on the previous 2 laps. But excuse me, but looking at if they were to pit right now, they would come out in a battle with Stelios. So Stelios on older tires, this may actually not be working out. And actually, Marcel doing a really good job pushing away from these Mercedes right now. I say that delta's not growing any more than I thought it would. So my pit stop tracker here shows that Marcel, were he to pit this lap, he would come out right behind Stelios. I'm not sure exactly if this delta is correct. Stelios showing that these mediums are just significantly more effective than these hard tires. as Fred, and actually there we go, Marcel Green into the pit, Simon Carlson into the pits, Cam Bourne staying out, so he'll have to go around one more time. So with this pit stop tracker, he would be, it looks like, about a second and a half behind Stelios when he comes out. So let's hop on board here with Marcel Green as he exits the pit lane. There goes Stelios. Yeah, this thing is definitely underestimating the duration of a pit here. Kiwi, it looks like Roldy off the track here. A little bit of front wing damage for Roldy, so he's going to have to pit to get that fixed. But actually, both the hard runners actually undercutting the medium runners here of Marcel and Simon. So Cam Bourne may be in the back of this train. Stelios well up the road. So Marcel Green showing a lot of pace. Before he pit, now stuck behind a couple of hard runners and so much more grip than Kai Guo. On those hard tires, it gets in front, and he should make easy work of Freddie Razzle as well. 7-lap-old hard tires versus fresh softs are definitely going to be very difficult to defend with. Let's see what Fred has in the bag here. And honestly, nothing here. Cam Bourne finally into the pits. So let's see where he comes out. He's definitely going to come out behind these guys. So Marcel is now in the net podium position here with Stelios well up the road. So where does Cam come out? Cam flirting with the pit exit there, coming out right behind his teammate Simon. Simon struggling to get by these hard runners right now. Kai Guo actually getting in front of Freddie Razzle. And we saw Fred being a bit of a terrorist earlier. Maybe not a terrorist, it's maybe a little extreme, but a bit aggressive earlier, causing a bit of an incident with himself. So with Marcel Green in front of both of these hard runners, what do these guys have in their bag to catch back up with him? Because if they don't get by Kai Guo and Fred here, Marcel is going to run away. And yeah, we see that gap already, 1.3 between Kai Guo and Marcel Green. So let's see. Up on board with these guys as we go down these final couple of corners for the 21st, or excuse me, the 20th time. Yeah, 21st time tonight. See on the track map there, Roldy being lapped. Marcel Green setting the fastest lap, just flying on these soft tires right now. A second and a half. Ooh, there goes Cam Bourne sliding as he goes into turn one. So Simon gets that position for him. So they're losing more and more time to Marcel Green in front. Actually, that was Simon that went off. So Cam Bourne now takes that position. I had them backwards. So will Cam have better luck some better luck trying to get around these hard runners here? Fred taking the position from Kai Guo on the previous lap, or on this lap, excuse me. But Zandvoort being Zandvoort, it's a hard place to overtake here. If you send it here, you're basically going to wind up turning the guy in front of you. Ooh, Kai with a major loss of speed at mid-corner there. So Cam Bourne looking to take the position. Now we know he was too far back. Now, Marcel Green now 3.1 seconds up the road from Fred here and only 2.3 seconds behind Stelios. So this alternate strategy going from the mediums to the softs definitely seeming like the play. Cam Bourne now all on that battery here. We saw that porpoising as they go through that final corner. Cam Bourne going to send it up the inside. Simon maybe looking for a move also. Almost goes into the back of his teammate, and he's just going to stick himself in there to get in front of Kai because these hard tires are just ruining their race right now. Oh, Simon just trying to bully Kai Guo. Maybe not the way to do that, Simon. Kai Guo now losing the position to Nathan Doan. So Nathan doing a good job of getting himself back into the race for this final podium position. Well, final fourth position as Marcel is now 4 seconds up the road from Fred. So Kai Guo, the unlucky one in that racing incident there. And now Fred looking to try to make a move back on Cam. Just trying to hold off Simon behind him. So Camborne, even with this, with one lap better tires, has a lot of work to do to catch back up with Marcel Green. Marcel Green already catching up with Stelios here. And we see Roldy lapped in that Aston Martin behind both of them. So looking at this tire wear, Stelios, 4-lap older mediums here. Nice undercut, but Marcel's showing so much pace that it may not matter for him, but we will see. The pace difference may not be enough. The tires may not hold up long enough for Marcel to run away from Stelios with the help of DRS. So he should easily take the position from Stelios, but he may not be able to just run away, but we will see. Will Stelios still have a potential fight for P2? Nathan Doan getting around his teammate here into turn 1. Simon Colston caught up in the battle with these Haas's, falling well behind his teammate Cam Bourne now. So a nice benchmark here will be between Fred and Kai Guo. So Fred showing some insane tire wear earlier today, 35% on that front left. Kai Guo, 26%. So Fred still having some tire wear issues with his current setup here at Zandvoort. Nathan Doan just inside that DRS of Simon Colston in front. I'm going to bring up this little graphic because it looks cool, even though it doesn't really give us any information. But Nathan Doan back in the fight here for P4. Little ways to go to actually get into P4, excuse me, but in the fight for P5 nonetheless. So kind of as we predicted it here, Stelios losing, not showing the best pace right now, but he does have enough to stick with Marcel Green with the help of the DRS, or the 2 DRS zones so far. The soft tires do degrade quite quickly, so there's a possibility. Actually, as I say that, Stelios just basically having to cook his whole battery just to stick with Marcel. Marcel holding on to a lot of battery right now. Camborne is closing the gap by about 2/10 that lap, but that's a long way to go. So it'd have to be a lot of fighting between Stelios and Marcel to get back into the fight for a podium here. See Roldy letting people through there as they catch up with him in that Aston Martin. Stelios doing his best here to hang on to the DRS of Marcel Green. Marcel Green still showing some really nice lap times, as he is still quicker than his teammate Marcel Paps at the current moment. Stelios matching that pace with the help of these 2 DRS detection zones. We scroll down the order here. Not a lot of battles going on. We have, I believe that is Terrence, who is not in the session at the moment. Did send him an invite earlier and accepted his Steam invite. He is not back in the session. I'll send him one more invite. Have the time. So Nathan Doan currently fighting here for P6. A Mercedes kind of running away from this fight with their better tires. Fred and Kai Guo on these ancient hard tires. They may actually be better tires when we get to the very end of this race compared to the mediums, but we will see. Tire wear is very similar right now. As we see with Kai Guo, the tire wear looks very nice right now for him. So unfortunately for our forecast, even though we see those clouds rolling in, it looks like we won't have any significant rain for at least 20 minutes. And the race will certainly be over in 20 minutes. So we will finish this baby on slick tires. Stelios finally being gapped by Marcel Green here. No longer able to hold on to that DRS. Tried his hardest, but to no avail. Cam Bourne about 3 seconds behind him. So it looks like our podium will be, we will have a 1-2 with Ferrari, with Stelios and that McLaren to clean up that final podium position tonight. But a big shout out here to Simon and Nathan, doing a really good job moving up the field. This race, Nathan up 4 positions, Simon back where he was at the start of qualifying. Look, we see have Chubb Tucker and Justin Schreier at 4 positions also. And then, of course, Marcel Green. In that P2 position right now. It looks like Freddie Rassel is going to go around the outside of Nathan Doan here. And now Kai Guo looks to make a move on Nathan as well. So Nathan falling down into P8. But Nathan fighting back with Kai Guo side by side as we head towards turn 3 here. Nathan not far enough alongside to really make that move stick. And now they're going to both lose out on a little bit of time to Fred. But Fred with not enough corners there to pull completely away. Actually, up here we are at this gap now. Pull up our neat little graphic thing here. Only 1.7 seconds is the gap between Stelios and Cam Bourne. Cam Bourne right now looks to be about 2/10, or actually was 9/10 quicker on than Stelios last lap. So Stelios may be struggling a little bit on these medium tires. Back down now to 1.5. So with the way things are going, Stelios may actually be in trouble. Look at that, Cam Bourne driving so clean. That Delta just dropping like a stone. Just over 1 second. That looks like a slow car. Roldy getting out of the way of some lap traffic there. Actually, that was Kiwi getting out of the way of lap traffic as well. So Cam Bourne in the DRS window of Stelios. So what was a very difficult, about a 3-second gap just a couple of laps ago. Stelios now lapping over a second per lap slower than Cam Bourne. So we'll momentarily hop on key. We will momentarily hop on board with Stelios here. Get an idea of his tire. We're 49%, whereas Cam Bourne is at 46% on that most important front left tire. So with this delta, you may actually see Cam Bourne with a little help from his battery go for the move here into turn 1, but he is lifting and rolling through turn 1 here, not looking to make a move just yet. So back here we have a big battle here for P6. Guo taking that position from Freddie Razzle, with Nathan just behind both of them here. So a few laps to go. Fun little battle here for P6. Simon all on his lonesome here in P5. Marcel Green up the road all by himself for P2 right now. Same thing with Marcel Pabst. And P11 though, Major Castleman in that Williams. A nice recovery drive here after being put facing the wrong direction at the start of lap 1. So having to pit twice here with the help of a VSC has managed to work his way back up into P11. Cam Bourne taking that position from Stelios with about 3 laps to go. Stelios just pace-wise, just struggling heavily. Just 4/10 slower than Cam Bourne, 6/10 slower than our race leader. Even Simon was about 4/10 quicker than Stelios, so we'll see. This is going to be an interesting DRS battle for the end of this race. We will see how this goes. A little ways down the road here with Freddie Razzle, Kai Guo, and Nathan Doan. Still a big battle here for P6. Let's see, does Stelios make a move going to turn 1? He does not. So with 3 laps to go, Stelios still behind Cam Bourne. So his pace still struggling. With that DRS, he's still about 4/10 slower than Cam Bourne. So it's possible he loses the position, or excuse me, that loses that DRS on this lap. Nathan Doan just chilling behind his teammate here as a battle for P6. Currently led by Formula or Kai Guo, and looks like Terrence has retired. Looks like his car finally retired. He's having some issues with the game. Constantly crashing tonight, so it looks like the game finally just retired him on the track. So hopefully he stays out of everyone's way. It does appear that way. So Stelios in a nice position where he can go for the move here. But will he just sit behind before we head, as we head to the second to last lap here? Maybe make a push on the final lap. Try to get this position for P3. Back in here, a 3-way battle for P6. Freddie taking the position from Kai Guo. Excuse me. Nathan Doan now right behind both of them, with a lap and a half to go. Who will come out on top in this 3-way battle? This is literally the only... We have 4 people inside DRS of anyone on this entire grid right now. The VSC doing a number on our long DRS train we had at the beginning. Also just a lot of mistakes with a few people going off the track at various times. So Stelios 5/10 behind Cam Bourne for the final podium position of this race as they head towards the final lap here. Stelios a little bit far back. He may not be close enough to actually make a move here. Let's see, down to under 4/10, 3/10. Not close enough to make a move. So Cam Bourne doing a good job here, going a little defensive, also showing some nice pace. Stelios overdoing the throttle there. Back up here for a second as Kai Guo tries to go around the outside of Fred going into turn 1. A lot of banging between the two of them that we've seen tonight. We also saw Kai Guo basically get drove off the track by Simon. Almost doing the same, Fred almost doing the same thing earlier, or there, excuse me. So Fred holding on to that position for now. Back up here to Cam Bourne and Stelios. Stelios so close to Cam with this last DRS zone before we go towards a partial DRS zone at the end of this lap. Is Stelios close enough to make a move into turn 10 here? He is not, with Cam Bourne going very nicely defensive. So Cam Bourne a little understeery there, may actually lose his opportunity to make any kind of move happen here. Now let's see, one little push towards the line. Will he have enough? Doesn't look like he has enough battery there, as his battery runs out right before the line. So Cam Bourne finishes on the podium. Simon's going to finish in P5. Well, in no man's land. Kai Guo with basically no battery. Will he beat Fred to the line? No, he will not. And Nathan Doan will come in right behind them with Justin Schreier in P9, Maxime Bouliot in P10, Major Castman in P11 with the two-stop. 16 more seconds. We will have Jack Fletcher, Chubb Tucker, then Nick Hamrick as the final ones across the line tonight. As Kiwi and Roldy and we see it on that, the little weather delta thing about, or our little forecast thing, showing a little bit of rain there at the end, but the race was not long enough to get to that point. We're going to get up to thunderstorms here in an hour. So, you know, if we did it on a 100% race, we may have had some rain, but not tonight. Excuse me. So there was Zandvoort Marcel Paps, aka Eruption, finishing his 6th win in a row. This one by 8.7 seconds. As it looks like Marcel Green slowed down quite a bit on that final lap. Marcel Green in P2, followed by Cam Bourne to finish out the podiums tonight. There is our final classification for round 6 in Division 1 here at Zandvoort. So next week, we're actually off. So no race next week as we have Labor Day, I believe. If I correct with that. Yep. Next week is the American holiday of Labor Day. So we are not racing next week, but the week after that, we'll be racing at Austria. Unlikely to do a sprint because the sprints are still broken. Thank you, Codemasters. You're so fantastic. And yeah, so we'll kind of go ahead and just call it with that. We will see you guys tomorrow night for Division 2, same track, same fun. We'll have some of those fun overlays again. Maybe we can see if we can find some better ones if we have the time. But that does it for our round 6 here at Zandvoort, boys. Congratulations to Marcel, and Cam. I don't know, that is showing qualifying. That is not, this final classification thing is lying. Well, oh well, that's wrong. Hopefully I saved the right thing. All right, well, everyone have a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.